What's up, YouTube, and welcome to Travel Adventures with Eric B. I'm Eric B, and today I'm going to talk about 12 things that you should know before you come to the Baltics. And we're going to start it off right here in the capital of Estonia, Tallinn. Get your popcorn ready, and let's get the adventure started. The very first thing you should know about the Baltics is what countries make up the Baltic region, the Baltic states or the Baltic countries. Well, there's three countries that make up the Baltics. At the top, you have Estonia, capital Tallinn. In the middle, you have Latvia, capital Riga. And on the bottom, you have Lithuania with the capital of Vilnius. And the capitals are very easy to travel to and easy to get from one to another. You can go on a bus and go from Estonia to Riga in about 4 hours, and then go from Riga to Vilnius in also about 4 hours on the bus. Also, many different options if you're looking to fly from city to city. Very easy to get around all three of the major cities, and there's trains and buses to take you around to other cities to make many day trips as well. The next thing you should know about the Baltics is you should know about the local pride that they have in their countries, because these three countries have not been long independent countries. Back in the 1920s, they declared independence from Russia, but during World War II in 1941, they were occupied again by the Soviets and retaken over in 1944, and the three countries restored full independence in the 1990s, 90 for Lithuania and 91 for both Latvia and Estonia. And since then, the countries have both joined NATO and the European Union in 2004. So now these are fully independent countries, but very new to the fully independent circle. And they have a lot of pride in their country, as I can tell you a quick story here. As I'm riding Uber in Vilnius, Lithuania, I mentioned to my Uber driver when he asked, "Where are you from?" I said, "I'm from Louisiana." First thing comes to mind is the New Orleans Pelicans. He goes, "Our countryman, Jonas Valanciunas, plays for your basketball team." And also we had discussions in Riga, Latvia about basketball players from there. I recommend before traveling these countries to brush up on a little knowledge. You can make some small talk with some locals and make some great conversations. The next thing you should know about the Baltics, and you should always know this when you're traveling, is you should know about the weather. Now, of course, going from north to south, north's going to be the coldest, of course, if you're talking Tallinn, Estonia, but all the way down from Estonia to Lithuania, especially in Estonia and Latvia, it gets very cold during the winter. So, beautiful place to go out in the square and catch one of those Christmas markets, but expect to be freezing cold, expect snow and everything, but hey, it's beautiful during the summer. I highly recommend it during the summer, but right now you could expect temperatures on average in Fahrenheit, because we're Americans, to be between 20 to 30 degrees right now, with plenty of that white stuff on the ground. So if you're going to go there in a month like January, expect it to be freezing cold. January, February, December, Christmas markets, I highly recommend going between May and September. You go during June, it is beautiful. A lot of people, but beautiful. The next thing you should know about the Baltics is you should know about the people. So similar to Scandinavian people, the Baltic people, they don't really talk as much as Americans, is big with the small talk and all, but they're very helpful people. However, with the Baltic people, they have lots and lots of pride in their country. So that's one thing you'll notice. And in general, the Baltic people are great. I had a great time meeting a lot of people there. And once you're in a social setting and things like that, and you get to know people, these are some awesome people in the Baltics. So you might want to know that between the three countries, Estonian, of course, is the majority of people are Estonian, majority of people are Lithuanian, majority of people are Latvian in the countries, and of course there's a pretty good amount of population of Russians. So if you are not one of those, you're not of European descent, like I am not of European descent, you might wonder, how do the people of the Baltics treat you? Okay, so I can only speak from the perspective of an African American. I can't really speak from the perspective of other minorities or, you know, LGBTQIA or anything like that. So I will say this about the people. Man, I thought the people were great, but just to get this completely out of the way, if you are black and you're going to come to the Baltics, you're going to get some looks. There's just no way around it. There's two different looks that you're going to get from time to time, not everyone. Some people are going to look at you and they may smile at the end. It's kind of look like, oh, it's a black person, kind of like, you know, I don't see too many of those type looks, and that's cool. And the other look, which I got 2 times within a short period of time, the only 2 times that I noticed, and it was both at the market in Riga when I first got to Riga, and that was that look of, you know, you don't belong here, look like, you know, we don't like you type of look. So you can expect to get that occasionally, but you're going to expect to get that occasionally if you're black in the U.S. and many places too. I know I've gotten it many times in the U.S., so that's not something that's going to keep me from going back to Latvia. I'm just letting you all know what to expect. You're going to get those looks sometimes, but it's not a big deal. The people are great. But yeah, you should definitely know that, though, if you're someone who feels like, hey, I don't want anybody looking at me. No one better do this. No one better do that. So I'm just kind of tempering you. It's going to happen. You're going to get a few of those looks. And also, I may add, when it comes to the Baltics and when it comes to Europe and different places when there are not a lot of, you know, minority African Americans, I had a chance to talk to an Uber driver who was black in Finland, and he told me that, hey, you know, he's been all over Europe. He's been living here a while and everything. Usually you have less issues in the bigger cities, but you go out to the smaller towns and villages and stuff, you will, you know, have to deal with discrimination and everything. But, you know, it's a part of life. These things happen, unfortunately. It pisses you off, but, you know, it happens. But if you go to the bigger cities, though, there's less of a chance you're going to have to deal with any type of discrimination or anything like you will if you're in the smaller villages. But it's that way a lot of times in the U.S. as well. The next thing you should know about the Baltics is you should know the currency. And I got good news for you. The currency for all 3 countries is the euro. And the euro currently, as I make this video, is $1.08 to 1 euro. So it's very similar to the US dollar. Not a lot of crazy adding up in your head and anything. But like I said, fortunately, all 3 countries use the euro, so that makes it a lot easier to travel around. And they're a little bit cheaper than the U.S. And the next thing you should know about the Baltics is you should know about accommodations. And I find accommodations in the Baltics to be very reasonably priced in terms of Airbnbs, hostels, vacation rentals, hotels, very reasonably priced. Cheaper than the neighboring countries in Scandinavia for sure. A little bit more than what you might get in, say, some of the other Eastern Europe countries, I would say. But, you know, the prices are definitely a little bit of a discount from what you would pay in the U.S. And you get an Airbnb and an apartment for under $100, under 100 euros pretty easily. And you can get hostels for really cheap, maybe even like 15 to 20 euros a night. And if you want to get a private room hostel, you might look at about 60, 70 or less, even less than that, euros a night. So the price is very reasonable. I sort of talked about this a little bit, but the prices is something you should know about the Baltics. I mentioned a little bit when it comes to accommodation, but your hotels and things like that are going to be cheaper than, say, Scandinavia. Depending on where you are in the more tourism areas, they will raise prices for tourists. And you get a little bit away from the tourist type areas, prices tend to go down a little bit. But these Baltic countries aren't rich countries like the ones in Scandinavia, so the people here aren't rich, so the prices tend to be a little bit cheaper than what you would spend in Scandinavia, which I keep mentioning, which is your Norway, Sweden, and those countries, Finland. So you come here, you get a lot of the same beauty, very similar to the rest of the Nordic countries, but a little bit on the cheaper side. Tallinn is the more tourist of the 3 major cities, so it'll be a little more pricey than Riga and Vilnius. But all 3 are very cheap. And Vilnius and Riga is about as cheap as you're going to get for major European cities that are absolutely beautiful. These are 3 stunning countries. And we talk about value. I don't want to use the word cheap anymore, but just great value is what you get here. The next thing you should know about the Baltics is you should know about the capital of Estonia, Tallinn, which is going to be the most visited city of the 3 countries in the Baltic region. And you should definitely visit the UNESCO World Heritage heart of the city, the old town square, which is absolutely beautiful, and the town hall square, one of the most beautiful squares in all of Europe. The beautiful churches, walking around and just seeing the amazing city. It's definitely the type of place you just want to just walk around and admire the beauty. Tallinn's also known for its great nightlife, museums. Also, Tallinn is a really good place to stay at if you're looking to take some day trips. You can obviously go out to the beach areas, Parnu, and different areas along the coast, but you can also go take the bus down about 4 hours and go to Riga, Latvia. And you can get here and you can go back and forward taking ferries from Helsinki, Finland. You can take a ferry to Stockholm, Sweden, and even to St. Petersburg, Russia. Ferries usually cost around $30. So this is somewhere you can stay at for a week and visit many places. Thing you should know about the Baltics is you should know about the capital of Latvia, Riga, Latvia. Now, Riga is known as a party city, and I discovered that firsthand having a great time as the party starts late and lasts even earlier into the morning in Riga all during the week. Wonderful party city. But this place is known for its beautiful old town area, historical buildings such as the Blackheads building and its beautiful Art Nouveau buildings, which is absolutely stunning at every corner. Riga, Latvia also is known as its Occupation Museum, which is close to the Blackheads building, which is somewhere that I recommend anyone coming to Riga visit, because the Occupation Museum tells you a lot about Latvia as well as the other two Baltic countries. You will learn a lot about the history of those countries in terms of the Nazi times, in terms of the Soviet times, and you will learn a lot about it gaining its independence. So it turns out to be a lot of sob stories, which turns into a great reality as of today. So you can really learn a lot through that museum. Riga is a very walkable city. You can ride the trams and get around a little bit. Riga does not, and Latvia does not have Uber. So the 10th thing that you should know about the Baltics, about a 4.5 hour train or bus ride away, is Vilnius, the capital of Lithuania. And in Vilnius, Lithuania, the old town is somewhere you should definitely check out. Check out the beautiful churches, in particular the beautiful St. Anne's Church. And also you will see in the Cathedral Square and the Grand Duke's Palace, absolutely amazing area that you have to check out when you're in the old town here. You have to go up Gediminas Hill, and don't forget to go up the Gediminas Hill Tower, where you can see some amazing views. Pretty good sized tower with a lot of expeditions inside of it, but you get amazing views on both sides. You can see the newer side as well as the older side from the tower. So you get those amazing views to enjoy of Vilnius, and both sides are amazing. Make sure you check out both sides as far as the old town and the newer side of the city. Also, while you're enjoying your amazing journey by foot around this amazing city, don't forget, if you get an extra day or a little extra time, take the 30 to 40 minute bus or train ride out to Trai and see the beautiful castle and the beautiful lake area of Trai, Lithuania, where there's lakes where you can go swimming, sailing, paddle boat riding, biking, lots of restaurants and bars in that area. It's an entire day trip where you can really just enjoy yourself and go kick back and go see something straight out of the movies, if you will. And the castle itself, there's a lot of fun little expeditions in there that you'll also enjoy. You can take a lot of photo apps and see some cool things inside of the castle as well. The next thing you want to know about the Baltics is you want to know the languages. Now, obviously, in Latvia, they speak Latvian. In Estonia, they speak Estonian. In Lithuania, they speak Lithuanian. These are all very difficult languages to learn. Most of the people in these countries, especially in the main cities, and especially the younger people under the ages of about 50, speak English. Many of them speak English really well, but they don't speak English to the level of the Scandinavians. But the majority of the younger ones will speak English. There's also a lot of people that speak Russian because of the Russian influence. So you might want to learn a few words like labas is hello in Lithuanian, but the language is very, very hard to understand. Just learn a few words and you'll be fine. One thing Americans always want to know when you're traveling abroad is you want to know about the safety of where you're traveling to. I'm going to tell you the 3 countries in the Baltics are very, very safe to travel to. They're very safe countries. They have low crime rates. They don't even have a lot of pickpockets there. But, you know, the normal things when you go into big cities, places like Riga and Tallinn and places like that, and even in Vilnius, there's a lot of drunks and things like that. So you're walking in the middle of the night, you know, regular safety precautions. You're a female traveler, you're solo, make sure you're not out there, you know, drunk out in public, and guys could take advantage of you, things like that. Guys, make sure you're looking around you, watching the people around you, make sure you're watching your drinks, no one's slipping anything in your drinks or anything. And that's all, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I ask that you please hit the like, please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the bell notification so you can know when I have more videos coming out. And I hope that you're enjoying this 2023 Europe series. And as always, remember, live today, grow today, tomorrow's never guaranteed. Peace and travel. Lots and lots of travel. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please hit the like, share, subscribe button. Leave any comment below. I'd love to interact. And if you would like to help the channel continue to grow, please consider hitting the join button and becoming a member of the Peace Corps and help us to continue to grow as a travel community.